Um, yeah, so it was actually Melicon. If you're still on, hi. Um, we were talking about a canopy earlier, as in, haha, canopy games. So canopy, as in like a cockpit for a craft, spaceship or aircraft, something along those lines. Let me share my screen real quick because we were talking about whether or not to use subdivision workflow or to make it in another way. So if I turn on my overlays here, you'll see the underlying geometry of this is really, really simple. In fact, it's only 5 faces. And when you do some face loops around this particular model, this is one of the things that we're talking about, that to get your edge flow right really does change the way that it works, essentially. Jan, can you see me, or are you behind on the stream? Do I need to push
I'm
this?
behind on the stream, but it's fine.
There we go. Now you can see what I'm doing. So if I do this face loop, we can see it's actually running round. It's going from the back here all the way around. And if this wasn't a mirrored object, it would actually loop the entire object. And so Melicon at the time, he was trying to not have it so square at the front here, and it was all about just manipulating the geometry. As you can see here, this is only 5 faces, and you get quite a nice shape just from those 5 faces. This is the power of subdivision workflow, but it can be a real pain in the backside if you don't approach it thinking about edge flow and loops around a model. But eventually what it ended up being, how do I erase this? Is it that? Nope. I don't know.
You should ask the Blender instructor.
I'm just going to remove that from the scene. There we go. Hey, Mag Racer 3.0, anybody?
Don't.
So these wings are almost exactly the same topology, the same mesh layout as the cockpit, and obviously I just stuck some sort of thruster in the back. And we won't look at the underside of the model because there's nothing really there.
He said looking at the underside of
them. This reminds me very much of, I think I talked about it a couple of weeks ago, F-19 stealth fighter from like the late 80s, I think it was. It's kind of that shaped wing, but yeah, it's amazing what you can do with just a very, very low poly mesh. See, that's the mesh there. It's just got an extra loop running down it to give it this really nice crease.
Ridge, yeah.
Yeah. And that's really just the Star Wars lightsaber in the back there, isn't it?
I mean, I do like the idea of returning to Mag Racer in God. Like, there's a lot of stuff we could do in there. But I also I'm aware that there's a bunch of content we need to make for other courses.